Good afternoon, blessed people. Welcome to Royal Afternoon Edition, the 2 p.m. newscast coming to you from Royal 88.4 FM. We take you to our list stories. 3 days to the July 9, 2023 raffle draw ceremony at the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sports Complex. How ready are the actors of the day?
The event is not taking us by surprise, so we've held meetings, we've done rehearsals, we've already visited the Paposi.
We are going to work on welcoming the guests, equally to inform the rationale behind mutual assistance and solidarity.
And still to come in this edition of the 2 p.m. newscast, parliamentarians in Cameroon have expressed dissatisfaction over government tactics to delay the deposit of bills at the National Assembly. And in sports, Evans William Jobati is carrying us Thursday Sport 5, in which we are going to talk football and the coming into Cameroon of Kylian Mbappe. And stay tuned for this and more. Good afternoon once again. My name is Abel Bela Samari. We will open our 2 p.m. newscast to talk about the mutual assistance and solidarity. Maso,
the special page in the news.
And joining me to talk about the special page is our own Eratus Nduye Ndibida. Good afternoon to you, Eratus.
Good afternoon, Abel Bela Samari.
Eratus, journalists and personnel of Royal FM have expressed their total readiness to relay all coverage of the raffle draw ceremony of Maso Act 3, which will take place this Sunday, July the 9, 2023, at the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sports Complex. In the following report, you gathered their reaction for us.
Preparations have been boiling up ahead of the Mutual Assistance and Solidarity Maso Act 3 raffle draw ceremony, with just 3 days left, as different commissions have been well defined, with precise work well defined. Jementa is the interim director, editor-in-chief on Royal FM, and she talks on their activities that day.
We are going to work on welcoming the board chair of Renapo Finance, who doubles as the promoter of the Mutual Assistance and Solidarity, as well as the Senior Division Officer of Yaoundé. Give out the ambience at the Multipurpose Sport Complex. We are going equally to inform the rationale behind the Mutual Assistance and Solidarity, because a lot of people will be knowing that as they are coming, they should only win. No, tell them that it's not only to win, but it's also to have the benefit that is behind Maso.
Benefiting from the instruction from the station manager every Thursday during their coordination meeting, Mapala Zita, one of the reporters at the radio, attests that the event will be void of any surprise to them who would cheer the draws.
The event is not taking us by surprise, so we've held meetings, we've done rehearsals, we've already visited the Paposi and known how we are going to occupy the stage. And for the raffle draw, we've been given dispositions on how everything is going to be done. So far so good. I think we are ready psychologically and everything wise.
On his part, the Director of Information also manifests his level of readiness.
I'll be working with Bertrand Mbois. We have held a series of working sessions to better prepare our commentary, because we are the one to do the live broadcast of the event on the radio and on a different platform. Mutualists to be able to be the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sports Complex, because we have a very good surprise for them. We want to give Maso Act 3 a different phase when it comes to communication.
As the reporters or the radio get in total synchronism with the event and all its digital platform, the top management has designed a special reporters brigade for a well-precise duty, as Annie Lizette, who tops the department, details.
We have about 10 reporters. We have an organization conference on Friday to give the orientation before to all reporters what will be their individual role at the Palais Polyvalent des Sports. We have to interview potentials mutualists, also to speak with those who have not won.
However, the Global Approved Finance SA has put in place a surprise package for all mutualists to stand a chance of benefiting an offer this Sunday with the special Maso draw.
Eratus Nduye, and over the different agencies of Renapo Finance SA here in Yaoundé, workers says they are already and are anxiously waiting for July 9, 2023, as you tell us, Mapala Zita.
Just like every other Renapro Finance SA agency, the BMRC office awaits Sunday's raffle draw in all anxiousness. Martha is an employee of the BMRC agency of Renapro Finance SA.
As in how far we are prepared in BMRC for the Maxo Actory, we are very much prepared, and we are so anxious. We are anxiously waiting. We can't wait for Sunday to come.
Worth noting that this agency has been one of those on which the beauty of the mutual assistance and solidarity has been more radiant during the last two acts, as Martha explains.
We are really waiting, keeping our fingers crossed, praying very hard night and day that God should find favor in us in order that we should have as many laws as possible so that in the next act we will not be having difficulties. So the entire BMRC agency as a whole, we are so prepared and we can't wait for Sunday to come.
And as they look forward to once again be highly favored on July the 9th, Martha says they remain steadfast in prayers.
For the past 2 years, we've had the best laws because in the first act we had the house, in the second act we had the house. So this year we are anxiously waiting and we are asking ourselves questions like, are we still going to have another house? Is God still going to grant us that grace?
Everyone definitely can't wait for Sunday to come as every agency wishes to get the biggest bite of the different Maso offers.
Indeed, Mapala Zita, as Maso Actory comes to an end at the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sports Complex on the 9th of July 2023. Registration into Maso Act 4 has already started. Just go to any Renapro Finance SA agency. There are 27 of them in Cameroon, 13 of them in the capital city, Yaoundé. Or you meet us here at the Radio House, Ria FM Cameroon, situated at Kameh, beside the bus stop to the University of Yaoundé to Soa. You have the opportunity to become a member of the Mutual Assistance and Solidarity Maso. You stand the chance to benefit from all the advantages and equally participate in Maso Act 4 that will take place on the 9th of July 2024.
Maso, that was the special page in the news.
And if you are just joining us, you are listening to Royal 88.4 FM. It is Royal Afternoon Edition, and still to come in this edition of our newscast.
One of the reasons is just that the government, they do it deliberately to suppress the legislative arm of the government. And those guys quite often have no say because the majority of the MPs belong to the ruling party.
Today's information: the presidential decree signed yesterday, July the 5th, 2023, demotes the Major General Gambo Isaiah from this position as Major General, and this as in a video which went viral on social media. The Major General, in a church service, said the Minister of Territorial Administration in a correspondence linked to the creation of this church threatened him as an individual without faith or law. And in the conversation with the pastor of the church, the Major General said he will meet the Minat boss to express his bitterness. Now, as the presidential decree few days to this outing degrades the position of the Major General Isaiah, our reporter Jementa Colonel Nelson Lambris for a legal view of all these wahala.
I think the demotion of the general from his previous post because of what he said in public is with accordance with the law and the discretion of the chief executive officer of a country, who is the president or the head of state. And remember, he is the chief of the armed force. He commands the military. I think somebody of that caliber, somebody of that magnitude, somebody of that social status don't need to get angry in the public and say exactly what he said. This can be considered as treason. If you're a general, you're supposed to protect the sovereignty of the state. You cannot come out and you said we have been protecting and we don't want this country to get into war, and you threatened a senior statesman like the Minister of Territorial Administration, who is acting under the ambit of the law in his area of command. I think this cannot be tolerated. In other affairs, in other sovereigns, in other states, in other nations, he will be dismissed completely and not only be demoted from his post.
We talk parliamentary news to say the bill to ratify the ordinance to amend and supplement some provision of the 2023 finance law has been adopted by the National Assembly. The adoption was made following a debate during which the parliamentarians were clarified on a number of related issues by the Minister of Finance, Louis-Paul Motaze. The ordinance of the head of state revealed that the budget have moved upwards by 381.8 billion francs CFA in absolute terms and in rights and in 8% in relative terms. In line with this, a reporter Jementa caught up with an economist for a better analysis. Take a listen to her report.
If plans are underway at the lower house of assembly to examine the state budget, the economist Chumolu Eugene looks into this exercise as a
my reading on the budget, increasing the budget, I think the government has noticed that maybe they will run the year in a deficit and then they are trying to amend the deficit and maybe to resolve the problem before it comes. Maybe they have overtaken a lot of activities and now they want to amend the budget too. Or even because of the year, some activities have been inflicted that were not there in the original budget, and which is dangerous.
The economist Chumulu Eugene, however, suggests that regarding our economic context, scrutinizing on the state budget should be properly done before the adoption.
The act of the parliament concerning the budgetary situation, I think instantly as per the financial law and based on the fact that budgets are being done yearly, it is posing a lot of problems and causing a lot of eyes to be opened as the finances of the country are being concerned. So I think the review is not timely and telling us that something is wrong and things are not moving the way they're supposed to go.
The economist rounds up by clarifying certain aspects linked to the state budget.
They need a lot of justification and clarification and more to that follow-up to make sure that what is being said should be implemented. If not, we'll continuously be where we are and we'll even go worse than what we are doing now. You cannot draw a budget from November to July. You are augmenting the budget.
That said, members of parliament continue with debate on clarifying numbers of related issues brought forth by the minister Louis-Paul Motaze.
Jementa in that report will stay in parliamentary news to say that it has been noticed that each year members of parliament raise up against the issue of late tabling of members of bills at the National Assembly. This year is not different as the text on the budget orientation debate did not arrive in time at the National Assembly. This puts the votes and even adoption in hurry. Here now is the lightness with which these texts are being examined by the members of parliament who at times do not understand much about the text table before them. Our reporter Christian Mando corner a political analyst in the person of Mr. Alenkem Richard who explain what can account for this late coming of bills at the level of the National Assembly.
The political scientist Alenkem Richard starts by giving out some reasons why the text on the budget orientation debate keeps coming late for years now.
Several reasons account for this. One of the reasons is just that the government seems to be doing it just for doing sake. They do it deliberately to suppress the legislative arm of the government. And those guys quite often they have no saying because the majority of the MPs belong to the ruling party, the CPDM, and consequently they won't complain what their comrades are doing. And you know the MPs equally, they are traders. Most of them, they own companies, they are contractors and the rest. So they will hardly oppose what is coming in.
According to the experts, this is a game that has been there for quite some time, as he says.
We see it as a game that has been there for some time. And I already think maybe a new regime will come to put an end to this. But however, it is a very poor exercise. Economically, it is uncalled for because MPs could equally contribute immensely in harmonizing, in reorientating the budget of the year.
For the political analysts, this shows the non-respect of laws in Cameroon.
Such situation have to be looked into. The government knows that it has to send in those bills early enough, and because the law asks for about 30 days, I think so, but they have never respected. That is the bad thing about Cameroon. We don't respect laws, even our own laws that we vote in, we don't respect them.
Worth noting that the budget orientation debate is the opportunity given to elected officials to express their opinion on the big lines of the National Assembly.
Mando Christel in that report, and we'll take you to something else. The Minister of Finance, Louis-Paul Motaze, has taken concrete move to exchange with the Finance and Budget Committee of the National of the Senate on the budget orientation debates document which outline the 2024-2026 medium-term economic and budgetary program at the end of the working session, which lasted for about 5 hours yesterday at the Senate. The Minister of Finance, Louis-Paul Motaze, now explained. Take a listen to what he has to say concerning the 2024-2026 budget orientation.
We had today a debate. The debate is very different from what we used to do here when we come discuss about the budget, because we don't have a budget 2024, but we tried to explain to the senators what are the conditions that will surround the preparation of the budget 2024. They had some other ideas that have been given to us, and we are going to have an internal discussion in the government so as to see those ideas that have to be taken into consideration what we will have to create and to put in place the budget of next year.
The Minister of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, Socio-Economic and Handicraft has promised to accelerate economic activities in the Northwest region, which have been hampered by the degrading socio-political unrest in that part of the country. Minister Ashi Basiliken III was speaking in Bamenda on a 2-day working visit to launch the 8th edition of the Sensitization Caravan on Approved Management Center. Take a listen to what he has to say.
The first one is precisely to sensitize economic operators on the advantages and facilities that somebody enjoys when he becomes a member of these approved management centers, be it in terms of halving tax by 50%. These also include the possibility for our ministerial department to also disseminate information.
Administrative authorities and the population of the West and Northwest regions have been praised for their respective role in ensuring steady and effective work on the Babaju-Bamenda route. The Minister of Public Work, Emmanuel Nganu-Jumesi, was speaking during the visit to evaluate construction work in some portion of the route linking Bamenda to the West Regional Capital, Bafoussam. Let's take a listen to one of the contractors of the project, Erin Jong, and the Minister of Public Work, who talks on the level of work at the stretch of road. Take a listen.
The first lot were about 70% done from Babaju to Matazem, and the 18 kilometers from Matazem to Welcome to Bamenda were about 35%.
We are now visiting the third lot. We have visited already the first one and the second one. I'm satisfied. You could realize that they are executing work without any difficulty. Let me salute also the commitment of the companies, Burns and Bofas, because what they are doing, nobody could expect it.
And we talk health in this edition of our 2 p.m. newscast to see that statistics from the Ministry of Public Health reveal the rates maternal deaths during childbirth in the country is alarming. The information was reviewed over the weekend during the meeting with other health officials. But what can be the reason for this phenomenon? Finwe Crispin interviewed a health expert and put together the following report for us.
There are several reasons for the rising level of maternal and child mortality in Cameroon. The first could be late arrival at the hospital and may lead to postpartum hemorrhage, according to the midwife Tosi Jones.
Postpartum hemorrhage refers to bleeding after delivery, and it is one of the highest leading cause of maternal death. It accounts for about 24%. So when a woman delivers and there's no way to manage this bleeding, she can bleed to the extent that she loses her own life.
Apart from the mothers, there are also causes why the babies pass away, one of which is
aspiration of meconium or maybe fluid, because whenever you deliver the baby, sometimes it is necessary to do resuscitation. That means cleaning the nostrils, removing fluid from the mouth, and preventing that fluid from getting into the baby's lungs. So now, if it is not aspirated, the baby may get into asphyxia and then experience difficulties in breathing.
As a means to curb this phenomenon, the midwife suggests the following ways.
We have to encourage these women to attend antenatal care clinic, because during antenatal care clinic they are educated on all this. We need to also empower women financially. Sometimes the women depend mostly on their husbands or families for support. So if the husband is not there to give transport, you realize that the woman stays just at home.
Worth noting that the government has been mobilizing effort in hospitals and in communities in order to end maternal and child mortality in our society.
Finger Crispin in that report. I will take you to talk about this internationally. Cameroon today joined her peers worldwide to observe the International Kissing Day under the theme Celebrating Love and Togetherness. The International Kissing Day raises awareness on kissing, which is an old-age practice with significance that extends far beyond just romance. And if the International Kissing Day encourages individuals to appreciate the love they share with their partners, family and friends, and even pets, some student journalists on internship, Mendomo Erica, went down the street of Yaoundé to find out from Cameroonians their perception they have when it comes to kissing.
Some Cameroonians on this day observe the International Kissing Day, which marks an expression of love and affection. Delphine shares her view.
What I actually think about the International Kissing Day is that it makes us celebrate love, affection, and of course kissing. So people actually come together for an excuse to show their appreciation through sharing a kiss.
Meanwhile, other Cameroonians like Eton Keng do not find it necessary to celebrate the day.
The commemoration of a World Kissing Day is absolutely unnecessary because kissing is a private act that should not be celebrated in public. I also believe that there are more important things to celebrate.
Michelle, on her part, adds that the International Kissing Day is not only for people living in the cities, but for everybody.
I think it's not our culture. It comes from the urban culture. But as what concerns the kissing, I don't really like it.
If these Cameroonians share diverse point of view, love experts say that they represent more of attachment within one another.
I will stay to talk about this other future story. Visits, they say, is an act of checking after someone, and people visiting depend on their situation. It might be as far as family members to solve family problems, money issues, or friendly visits. But visit becomes a problem when someone visits you on unnoticed. A student journalist on internship, Bate Bridget, caught up with some Yaoundé city dwellers to find out their perception and what they think about those who visit them unannounced. Take a listen to what they have to say in the following Vox Pop.
Unexpected visitor is not good because when you visit me without informing me, in my mind, first of all, I'm not prepared to receive you, and it is not obligatory for me because I was not waiting for you. Also, unexpected visitor makes a lot of trouble.
I don't really like it. It's very annoying because you cannot just be like that and without warning you, one of your family members just come because they don't really know what thing is on your project. It's really annoying. We might not always show it our family member. I think at least before going to someone's house, you need to notify the person.
Before visiting me, you have to make me know. You have to notify me. If you come to my place without telling me, if you ring at the bell, I'm not going to open it because we live with a program. You have a schedule that we follow. If it happens that you are coming to my place and you call me, I'm going to add my budget for the week or depending on the duration you are going to pass with me. So I don't like the idea of coming to my place without letting me know.
Sometimes it can happen that the person maybe has misplaced your contact. The person cannot just inform you because the person is not more having your contact. So the person will just like to come like this. Unexpected, that is what causes unexpected visiting sometimes.
We'll take you out of the country. A suspected nitrate oxide gas has leaked in South Africa, where killing 17 people. The nitrate gas, which is often used by illegal gold miners, locally known as the Zamas, to extract gold from soil stolen from abandoned mine shaft. The nitrate gas has led to the deaths of women and children in that locality who inhaled the toxic gas in an informal settlement in the Bukbek of east of Johannesburg. Victims were found within 100-meter radius of the scene. 15 people are currently receiving treatment in hospital as a result of the toxic gas. We move over to Kenya to say Kenya government is delaying in the reopening of its border with Somalia after attacks on its soil attributed to the Islamic militant group Al-Shabaab. The Interior Minister of Kenya said the phase of reopening of the border post along the lengthy frontier would not go ahead as it was announced. He also added that Kenya would in a few weeks begin interrogating refugees who have been staying in the camp as part of a new way of managing the crisis out there in Somalia. United Nations has condemned what it calls rising sexual violence against women and girls in Sudan. In more than 2 months of conflict, the UN Human Rights Office in Sudan said it has received credible reports of more than 20 incidents of conflict-related sexual violence against against 57 women and girls, in which 20 of the women were raped in the same attack. Furthermore, the UN chief humanitarian officer says that it was considerable that Sudanese women and children should be going through this difficulty. Over in Ukraine, 4 people have been killed and 34 others injured after a Russian rocket hit an apartment building in the western parts of Ukraine. The mayor of that city described the incident as one of the biggest attacks on the city's civilian infrastructure. The regional heads of the country said more than 30 houses have been destroyed, and the Ukrainian president has vowed that he is going to respond to the attack that took place in his country. We come back to Talk Sports. And joining me to talk sports is Evans William Jobati. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Abel.
Let's begin with the 2023 National Championship of the Cameroon Federation of Sports for the Deaf Persons that have been launched in the Adamawa region.
The competition, which took place at the Dume Oman Stadium in Gaoundéré, saw a good number of athletes compete in diverse disciplines like football, high jump, as well as 100 meters race, amongst others. It will interest you to know that this edition of the competition comes to the region for the first time and was performed in the midst of the regional delegate for sports in the Adamawa region, Yves Ngetok. Let us listen to some major reactions from the organizers of that event.
I want to express my satisfaction as the end of this day. We have seen players who have a good level. We also see athleticism where the guys have done good performances.
It was not easy because to handle handicapped people, most of the time people could not imagine that they can do sport, they can do competition sport even. So what happened today shows everybody that handicapped person, especially the deaf impaired person, can do sport, can do competition sport, can succeed in life with sport. So I'm so happy and I'm so proud of those children. What happened today, I think the population have understood that handicapped persons should be respected. So by doing sport, it is a better way to work for inclusion, I think so. To integrate them in the society.
And let's talk handball to say that Cameroon has been placed in pot 3 ahead of the Women World Championship draw to take place in Denmark, Norway, and in Sweden, Evans.
This 26th edition has launched Cameroon in pot 3 alongside Argentina, Japan, Serbia, just to name a few. The draws, which begins as from 3:30 p.m. today, will partition the different women's handball selections to take part in this year's World Handball Championship to run from November the 30th to December 17th, 2023 in 3 European nations, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden.
And equally, we stay this time in football to talk about the female military team of Cameroon that have been booted out of the women military World Cup competition.
The indomitable military lionesses of Cameroon crashed out of the cup at the semi-final phase, conceding their first defeat with 4 goals. Coach Josephine Dumu and girls were disarmed by South Korea as from the first half by 2-0, and later on smite with a penalty from Naomi Eto'o. But this joy won't last long as the Koreans further shattered their dreams, adding 2 more goals in the game. Meanwhile, the other half of the stage saw France trash host nation Holland 5-0. The final match will be played this Sunday at the SV Spakenburg Stadium in that country.
Now, I wanted to talk about the Interpols. As we said that the regional games have reached their peaks ahead of the competition to start on the 15th of July here in Yaoundé.
Yes, Abel, some regional mini Interpol matches are already known ahead of the national Interpol competition in Yaoundé come July 15th. We begin with the Central region with Africa Sports Yaoundé, who will clash with Academy Nyom at the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium in the playoff of the Central Regional League. Both sides obtained their tickets last Sunday, with notably Africa Sports, who defeated Real FC Desert 3-0. One of the players of the Africa Sports, Brandon Teya, gave us his reaction after that encounter.
I would like to say it's the first time I did something like that. I would have never believed that the thing would have come out in this way. Just like the passion and commitment to it that made it a success. But I was sincerely afraid, especially with the cameras, because I was like, in case a wrong decision is made, my camera might fall down or my computer might just get bad. So I was kind of scared. If I have good cameras as well as good capturing cards and good microphone, I think we can even give better than what we are expected to give.
Meantime, the Northwest Regional League have paired Bafmen United to Bang Bullets FC to bring out the representative for their region in Yaoundé. Bang Bullets FC defeated Hilltop Strikers 4-1 on aggregate, and Bafmen United maintained their lead against Tuba United, in which a kind of VAR was used during the first leg encounter. Let us now listen to Ebaku Rene, who is the engineer behind that innovation.
I'm very happy that the game was good, and by the grace of God, and we are going to the finals. Riyadh, they say it's a team that we have played twice, they have won us twice, so we are used to with the team, so we're very, very determined to come back to win them. We thank God that we were victorious in this game. The difference was just a determination. We have more anxiety to win. I think they were afraid of us because we have played so many times. They are a very good team. That is a very good team. Any team that.
And in the Southwest region, Isosa will be faced with Kumba City FC after a dramatic encounter witnessed in between Kumba City and Jalakwan SA, which recorded 5 red cards, 2 yellows and 3 penalties. It will also interest you to know, Abel, that all the finals will be played in stadiums across the country this Sunday, July 9, 2023.
And just to add to your story, French international Kylian Mbappe is in Cameroon, country of the origin of his father, Wilfred, and he is expected to visit a school rehabilitated thanks to his foundation here in Yaoundé, donate give to the less privileged, and equally have a working session with the Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute. He is equally expected in Douala, where he should end his visit with a visit on the island of Jabele, where his father is from. Let's now welcome Olivier Ndema-Epo, who is here with a summary of this newscast in the French language. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ebel. Mutuelle d'assistance et de solidarité Masso, encore 3 jours et ce sera la clôture officielle de l'acte 3. À cet effet, le groupe Renapro va organiser le 9 juillet au Palais Polyvalent des Sports de Yaoundé une cérémonie de tirage au sort des bénéficiaires de l'eau et assistance divers. Ceci pour le compte de Masso Classique et Masso Gold. Un décret du président de la République du Cameroun, Paul Biya, admet le général de division Ngambou Ezaï en 2e section de l'armée camerounaise. Le décret qui a été signé hier fait suite à la réaction de l'officier supérieur aux propos et déclarations du ministre de l'administration territoriale, Paula Tanganji. Il avait en effet interdit les activités de la formation religieuse du général de division. Ce faisant, le haut gradé avait fait part de son mécontentement en plein office religieux. Au Parlement, les députés s'insurgent contre le dépôt tardif des textes. Cette session ordinaire encore, le texte sur le débat d'orientation budgétaire n'est pas arrivé dans les délais et dans quelques heures, il passera au vote et sera adopté. Ce qui préoccupe ici, c'est la légèreté avec laquelle les textes sont examinés par les députés qui, bien évidemment, n'en comprennent pas toujours grand-chose. À l'international, Afrique du Sud, 17 personnes trouvent la mort dans un bidonville de Johannesburg. Le drame s'est produit hier. Selon des sources, une fuite de gaz est à l'origine du drame. Les bouteilles de gaz appartenaient à des mineurs clandestins. Parmi les 17 morts, l'on dénomme 3 enfants. Et en sport, Kylian Mbappé Lotine va séjourner au Cameroun pendant 3 jours, du 6 au 8 juillet. Le footballeur d'origine camerounaise est venu découvrir son village natal et organiser des activités caritatives. Kylian Mbappé arrive en terre camerounaise via l'aéroport de Yaoundé-Simalène ce jour à 17h. Il va séjourner au village Noa ici à Yaoundé. Le 8 juillet, c'est-à-dire samedi, il va se rendre dans la région du littoral via l'aéroport international de Douala. Il fera une escale au groupe scolaire Espérance Divine de Sodiko et à l'école publique de Bonendale avant de se rendre à Djibale par pirogue, le village de son père. Il sera 15h lorsque Kylian Mbappé embarquera pour la France ce 8 juillet.
And it is with that summary in the French language that we wrap up this edition of our 2 p.m. newscast. Wemiale Kume was sound engineer, copyright clerk. Jean-Marie Ocho, a video editor on our Facebook/YouTube page, we are FM Cameroon. The news was produced by Fingui Crispy, news edited by Jementa, coordination by Director General Jean-Pati Antala, general supervision ensured by Reverend Pastor Bisa Emmanuel Noy. For presentation, my name is Abel Bela Samari. Stay tuned to programs of Royal 88.4 FM.